I only had $20 to get started with my business.
Wow. Welcome to another episode of the Upflip podcast. I'm Alex Freeman, and today on the show, we have Charmaine Nicole, who built her hair and skincare line into $1 million business in just 4 years. Charmaine recognized a failure by dermatologists to treat CCCA alopecia with modern-day solutions and started making skincare products to help clear her skin. Using all organic ingredients, she grew her hair back, documented it all on her YouTube channel, and a star was born. Today, she's going to share her strategies and answer questions like how she started Sydney Nicole Products, how she's grown her business 75% a year for the last 5 years, what she's focusing on, how she acquires clients, and the processes she uses to manage her business. Get ready for an inspirational Upflip podcast. Charmaine, first to start things off, tell us a bit about yourself and how you got started in the beauty industry.
Well, first I want to say hello, Alex. Thank you for having me on your podcast, and hello to the audience. So the way I got started, actually, I was diagnosed with CCCA alopecia by a dermatologist, and there was pretty much nothing that I was being prescribed was working for me, including the steroid shampoos, steroid shots, all that good stuff people with alopecia are familiar with. So I decided to do the natural route, and I've always been into herbs and just holistic healthcare in general. So from there, I began to create my own formulations. Then hence I cured myself and grew my own hair back. So that's basically, I got started by force.
That's absolutely incredible. How much did it cost to get your line started?
Well, actually, at the time, I was going through a really hard time in my life. So I only had $20 to get started with my business. And what I did was I already was on YouTube. So I was already putting out videos and everything like that. But I paid all of my bills for the month. I had $20 left. And, I had, my little YouTube checks. And I used the $20 to buy the main ingredients that I wanted to use to start my first product, which is the organic hair growth oil. So with that product, I just purchased, just the main ingredients, and I mixed them together, and I did a giveaway on my YouTube channel, Black Hair and Skincare. And when I did the giveaway, that allowed my customers to try out the products. And then it went from there. So $20 is all it took for me to start my hair care line.
Wow. Can you kind of talk us through those steps of developing the product? How did you make those first choices of what ingredients you were going to pursue? How did you kind of go through that process?
Yeah, so I always been into research with holistic herbs and just anything that can heal you naturally. I always been into that. I've been fixated on that all of my life. So I started to do research on products or essential oils that would naturally heal the hair and scalp of inflammation, which is the main cause of CCCA alopecia. So once I did that, I started to formulate my first product, the organic hair growth oil. So it was basically research on natural ingredients. I'm going to take natural out of it. We're going to say organic because, the cosmetic industry I think they abuse natural. So I search for organic ingredients, and I use those organic ingredients based on what they would do for the body, hair, skin, or what have you, to create my first formulation for my product, the organic hair growth oil.
And how long did that process take? How long were you researching and then experimenting and then getting that first product kind of to market?
So I would say I did research for about 3 months. Then I created the product. Then I tested the product on myself for a year before I put it out there on YouTube to my subscribers. So it took me about a year to get the first product out there.
Wow. And then what was the process like of kind of scaling that? You'd used it for yourself, but then now you're starting to sell product. How does that process unfold?
So fortunately, I already had a loyal following on YouTube. So I've been on YouTube since 2009. So by this time, 2016, I already had a loyal following. People were already following my hair care journey. So they saw me go through the hair loss. So once they saw me go through the hair loss, and then they saw me using the products that I was using that I created to grow my hair back, and they saw my results, that's when everything started to scale. Of course, they wanted the giveaway because I was already talking about the product. And then on top of that, they seen my results. So from there, it was word of mouth. and it just bloomed.
Before we kind of dive into some questions about your YouTube channel and how that has helped you in both the startup process and as a business owner now, I want to ask a couple more questions in the realm of the day to day of the business. As you got started, how did you go about finding and choosing your suppliers, and what might someone who's starting a beauty line want to consider as they're choosing their own suppliers?
Well, for me, because I create my own formulas, the first thing I searched was organic or raw suppliers, like for bulk or olive oil or bulk organic grapeseed oil. So I would search those things and I found suppliers that way who provided bulk options. Also, I would want them to basically, just be careful on the internet where you buy from. Make sure you're doing your research on the company because there are a lot of companies out here, that's scamming. So just make sure you do your research and you'll be able to find good suppliers. And anybody can hit me up and I'll, gladly share.
And then as you kind of built this out, what kind of physical space was your business taking up, and how much does it take up today? Do you have a separate commercial space for inventory, or do you have a way around that expense that you might recommend?
Yes. When I first started, I was in my kitchen beautician. So I was in my kitchen and then I moved from my kitchen to my kitchen and my living room. Then I moved from my kitchen and my living room to my basement. And then I moved from my basement to, I just need a bigger house. So I actually moved. And then once I moved from Philly to Delaware, my basement is really big and I use that now as my warehouse. But we're currently looking for commercial space. But up here in Delaware, it's pretty hard to find right now for some reason. But I basically avoid the expense of a commercial space right now just by making my basement my warehouse. It literally looks like a warehouse down there.
And now, kind of shifting over to the YouTube channel, you mentioned that a lot of word of mouth. You had a loyal following on YouTube when you launched the line. Is that still kind of your main form of marketing, or what other strategies are you using?
YouTube 100% is still my main form of marketing, only because I like the energy of YouTube. The people on YouTube are so genuine, especially on my channel. They're genuine, they're caring, they're interested in what I have to say, and they know that I'm going to provide them with some great content that is going to help them in the long run, because I talk about a variety of different things when it comes to hair care, including medical hair loss and health. So I would still say YouTube to me is my number one, just my way of advertising. And then the second, because people find me on YouTube, then it's the word of mouth. They tell their family, they tell their friends, their coworkers, and I love that. I think personally, in my experience with paying for advertisement and having word of mouth, personally, word of mouth advertisement has worked better for my business.
How has the way you use your YouTube channel shifted since launching the lines? And what benefits are you seeing from YouTube? And do you have any other platforms that you find equally valuable?
The way my channel shifted, basically, when I first started YouTube, I was just talking about different ways to care for Black hair and skincare, or just different hairstyles and everything like that. When I went through my issue, as my product when I launched my product, then I started to talk about health, the ingredients that are in products, how the ingredients in products affect you on the inside. So because I am kind of like a goofy clown, like on the inside and everywhere, like my family knows, I love TikTok. So to me, TikTok has becoming more beneficial along with Pinterest, because you can post your ideas and things on there. So TikTok, people can see you and you post funny content, and you can post content about your products. And on Pinterest, you can post ideas. People like a lot of DIYs and or just giving tips on hair and skincare. So Instagram is okay, but I definitely like the energy of YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest better.
And then as you got started launching your first lines, were there any skills that you learned from running your YouTube channel and working on online forums that you found the most useful as you started this new phase of your business life?
Honestly, what I took from YouTube and I still use today was just being myself and with running my business. Like if you are genuine and you just are you, everything else will flow the way that it needs to flow when it comes to just connecting with the people and your product and advertising and so forth. So it's just being genuine.
And then you also have a newsletter. And how many subscribers do you have on that newsletter?
Right now, we have about 14,000 subscribers
Wow.
that are subscribed and 17,000 contacts.
That's a great list. What's been the best way you found to build that email list?
Okay, so I'm kind of guilty. I didn't have like the pop up, when you go to the website and sign up here I didn't have that. So it's funny that I already had a large email subscriber list before I actually added that to my website. But I think me just going on the YouTube community and putting, hey, y'all, sign up for my newsletter so you can get these coupon codes. That's what grew my subscriber list faster than the pop ups on the website, because you have to get the traffic to the website, right? So me sending that out grew that faster. Me talking about it grew that email list faster.
Then, the question that I'm sure you get all the time from people that understand how quickly you've grown. And so hopefully our listeners, looking for the silver bullet here. How have you kept your revenue growing consistently year over year?
Consistently working. So when you are working a 9 to 5, you just go in at 9, you clock out at 5, you go home, you forget about it. When you are an entrepreneur, you're literally working 24/7. I feel that way anyway. I just now got to a point where I have employees now. So I hired employees and they do majority of the bulk of the work that I did in the beginning of my career. But I'm just starting to settle down now. So I'm starting to get a little calm. It's better as time go on. But the way that I continued to grow, to me, was consistently putting out content on YouTube, consistently talking to my clients about hair loss, consistently posting reviews that my clients send me, their pictures, their before and afters, consistently talking about issues that matter when it comes to health and ingredients and products. That's what consistently grew my business. No one talks about, though, when there are slow years, because sometimes you have like slow seasons. But the key to get past that is to consistently be consistent in what you do. And if you're being consistent, you can't fall back. You can't go backwards. You're only going to continue to go forward.
So you've got two different businesses, Black Hair and Skincare, Sydney Nicole Hair.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about what advantages there are of keeping those businesses separate as opposed to being sections on a single website, as an example?
To me, honestly, I don't have a mentor. I don't have anyone telling me, like, do this, that. I don't have investors. Everything that I have is my raised capital to start my second business, which is Sydney Nicole Hair. So I do have it on two separate platforms right now. And I see that as a benefit because as it grows in the future, that's something that I think will take off on its own and just by itself. So I had to separate it because it's two different audiences. Black Hair and Skincare is mainly about maintaining the African-American women or minority women hair and skin. We don't really have products out there that are beneficial to us. A lot of our products are unregulated. As you see, hence Olaplex Olaplex 3. They have an ingredient that is banned in Europe, and no one talks about that. But I'm tired of us using products that are hurting us, because those ingredients can cause infertility, etc. So with Sydney Nicole Hair, that's separate in the sense I want it to be where if ladies are suffering from alopecia and they can't grow their hair back, or if they just want to get some high quality extensions. So it's separated just for the fact of how I know Sydney Nicole Hair is going to go in the future. But if I didn't have to have that separation, I would definitely keep it all on the same website. It's definitely cheaper.
And then, so in a typical month, which one's driving more revenue, Black Hair and Skincare or Sydney Nicole Hair? And what's your most popular product overall?
I would definitely say Black Hair and Skincare is driving the most revenue. I've been working with Black Hair and Skincare brands since 2016. So, of course, it's going to have more popularity. Sydney Nicole Hair, I pretty much just started 2 years ago, but it's going to get where Black Hair and Skincare is now, if not further, in my opinion. So our most popular product on Black Hair and Skincare is our organic hair growth oil, also our trio, which is our shampoo, conditioner, and organic hair growth oil, and then our scalp soothing mist. These are products that I have to make daily.
So I guess that's a great question here too. To follow up on that is, making these products daily. How often are you? You've mentioned you've had some employees. Are you still doing most of the making of the products, or how does that break down?
Because I formulate all of the products that are, that sell the most, I teach my employees how to make those products. And then the products that I can make on my own that doesn't sell as fast as the high selling products, I'll just make those myself. And I'll, as time goes on, I'll teach them how to make that as well. But the key, honestly, I know as an entrepreneur, these products are your babies and you just don't want anybody to mess it up. But you have to teach people how to make the products because it's not a manufacturing. Well, it kind of is, but it's not. But we're making this by hand. So there's no machines involved in, doing this. So I think that honestly also makes a difference in the value of the products is that we're making it by hand.
This is going to bring us to a section of our show that we call our Fan Blitz questions. These questions come from our YouTube community. If you're listening out there, go check out Upflip on YouTube. Join the community so we can get your questions for future podcast guests. We're going to just do these real quick hitters, but 20-second answers each, starting with this one from Michael Spence, who's asking, what are your goals for 2022?
Basically, for 2022, my goal is to do what I'm doing here now with Upflip. I want to expand my brand outside of just, my social media. I want to do commercials on TV and all of that jazz. So it's about expansion and getting out there and meeting more people.
Michael Solly is asking, was there a time when you almost gave up? If there was, what happened that caused you to persevere?
If it was a time that I almost gave up, it was when I was losing my hair, not when I created my brand. Because honestly, I just cannot. I'm so passionate about what I do. I can't even see myself giving up. So I can't even. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question for you.
I love that because it's a nice little follow up here. Because so Will's question is, how did you overcome your fear of failure? And I guess my addendum to that is, did you have a fear of failure, or is your passion not even allowed that fear to enter in?
No, I still had a fear of failure. When I first started, I remember I was telling my significant other at the time, I was like, yeah, I want to start this line. I had a dream about it. I just want to go out and do it. And then he kind of put fear in me, no, don't do it because then people might say this or they might do that. And I ignored it, thank God. And I created my line anyway. But it's always something in the back, are people going to like my stuff? Are they going to see the value in my products like I see in my products? And once that was answered with my returning customer rate, I knew that I had something there, and just don't doubt yourself.
Last Fan Blitz question here. Atris would like to know, if you had to start a business in a different field, what would it be and why?
Oh my God. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start a business in herbal medicine. I'm going to use different herbs from all over that help heal different issues. And I'm going to start a line with that. It's just isn't here yet, but it's coming soon.
I love it. You heard it here, folks. It's coming soon. That's going to do it for our Fan Blitz questions. Again, these questions come from our YouTube community. Check out Upflip on YouTube. Join the community, and we will get your questions for future podcast guests. A few more questions from me. What systems or metrics are you using to evaluate your product sales? And then how do you use that information?
So right now I use Shopify. Shopify to me is very user friendly. I have seen and demoed other shopping platforms, but to me, Shopify is more simple. So I can see how many visitors I have. I can see how much I made in that month. Or if I want to do a 2-week span, I can see how much I made in 2 weeks. If I put out an ad that day, I can see how much revenue I made from that ad that I put out. So it's a lot of different metrics you can use with Shopify that I love.
Do you swap out products that aren't selling well?
No, because as soon as I take it down, someone's asking me, where is it? So I just leave it there. And, if I want to create something similar or different that I think they might like as a variety to what isn't selling as fast, then I do that. But I don't even take down products anymore because I don't want to hear anyone's mouth. My customers will email me in a second.
And then what about that customer review and those feedbacks? How do those factor into your product decisions?
Oh, definitely. That 100% factors into it because they're using the products besides myself. So they can critique and let me know, what do I need to improve on if needs improvement. I would like to think that none of my products need improvement because that's just the way I am. I'm a perfectionist. But if they need improvement, I can count on my customers to let me know. You understand? So we have that kind of relationship.
And when you get that kind of, room for improvement type feedback or negative reviews, how do you respond to those?
I think because I've been on YouTube for so many years, I respond like a perfect YouTuber. And that just basically means I respond with kindness and, thank you for your response. But then, thank God I have a PR person now, or someone who answers the emails. So I am doing well in not having to deal with that now. But if I did get someone rude in the past, then I would just kill them with kindness. Because trust me, people, it's the best way to go. You don't want to argue. You don't want to argue with them in the comments because you're going to look crazy.
What's the toughest part about owning a beauty business? Is there anything that business owners can do to make it easier?
Get an accountant, number one, because when you start making $1 million, you're going to be like, oh my God, how much do I have to pay in taxes? So get an accountant. You want to get some accounting software because you want to learn what your accountant is doing too, because you also don't want to end up on the IRS later down the line. And then you also want to just make sure you're paying attention to your money going out that you're using to buy your raw ingredients and the money that's coming in. Make sure you're not overspending every month. I know it's exciting. You're starting to make a whole lot of more money, but you can't spend too much money yet. You have to make sure you're saving money. That is the main thing, is just paying attention to money management.
Then do you package and ship in-house, or do you use a third-party service? I know your basement's a warehouse, but what is the actual packaging and shipping process?
We do everything in-house, including packaging and shipping. So we have employees who package and ship, and we also have area where we create and produce the products as well.
And what was it about that approach that made it the best fit for your business?
Because I'm controlling and I have a type A personality. I don't know. I didn't want my customers mean the world to me. So I didn't want my products being shipped out and then they didn't wrap it right, and then there'd be a problem. To me, it keeps down on complaints, in my opinion, because I'm controlling.
I love it. I mean, you're certainly not alone. Many entrepreneurs, type A personalities in that regard. You've made mention of employees in a few different spots throughout this interview. So how many employees do you have? Do you only have employees? Do you also utilize freelancers? What does that kind of workforce look like?
So right now we have 2 W-2 employees. It will be 3, including myself, because make sure you pay yourself, guys. Make sure you get a good payroll system. I use ADP, so you guys can check them out. I had paychecks. I didn't like them. But make sure you get a good payroll system. I have 3 total W-2 employees, including myself. Then I have 3 1099 employees. So with the W-2 employees, you get a lot more tax credits when you are, doing your taxes. But for the 1099 employees, because of the PPP loans and everything that's out now, you don't get as many tax credits, but they still count that income, which you want to do because it's a tax write-off. So I have 5 employees total.
And then how does their workload break down? So who's updating the website, posting to social? Is that you? Is that an employee, a freelancer? How does the workload break down?
I'm sorry for laughing. I seen this meme where they were like, I'm a small business. So they were like, who's the customer service assistant? Me. Who's the one that packages the products? Me. Yeah. Because I just got that now, but I still feel like I do that. You ever feel like it's never ending, like you still do a lot? So I do have, I have someone answering emails. So that's my personal assistant. I have 2 and 3 people that are packaging and making products. But as far as the social media, I try to control that because I know I took marketing in college, so I kind of get that. So I try to handle all of the social media and marketing. I tried to give it away. It didn't work. So I had to swing it back around and just do it myself because I do a wonderful job at it.
As you kind of have brought these employees into the company, how did you find them? How did you determine that they were going to be a good fit for your company culture?
I have had employees come and go, but I started first with family because I knew I can trust my family. And then we started hiring some friends, and I'm very good at reading energy. So I don't know. I have a vibe, and I can just vibe with people and see if I think they'll be a good fit, along with running background checks and, making sure all their credentials are good for being employed. But basically, I'm doing the hiring. So it's more, a vibe and if I think they're a good fit and how they work. I like to do a probationary period first.
How does that period work? How long is it? Have you had anybody that hasn't made it through the probationary period? And how did you navigate that?
Oh my God, yes. When I worked for the government, we would get probationary period for a year. My employees, I give them 30 days. The reason why I give them 30 days, because for me, I don't believe in dragging things on that I don't see as working. When you're an entrepreneur, time is money, money is time. And I don't want to waste money on employees that will not be beneficial to the company. So we have a 30-day probationary period where I check you out, see how you working, because it's not that hard. You just pay attention and everything flows. Usually I just look for if employees are calling out or if they coming in on time. Those are the things in their work production and within the time frame of their work hours. Those are the things that I look at the most.
As you've answered some of these questions, I've been really looking forward to getting to this question because business owners need to wear so many hats.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage your time to get everything done without burning yourself out?
My office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That's how I make everything okay where I'm not feeling burnt out. Because before I was answering emails at 3:00 in the morning. I was answering emails on the weekend. And I was like, you know what? This is taking into the time of my family. My husband's complaining. Like, we can't have this. Okay, people, you have to take time for yourself. You cannot be on burnout because there will be no business to run if there's no you. So I will set scheduled hours that you will absolutely only do business. No matter if you have a good relationship with your customers, just let them know, like, guys, I have to make sure that my home is taken care of as well. So these are my office hours. Please kindly respect them and just stick with that. And that way you won't burn out. Just turn everything off after your office hours, just like you're doing a 9 to 5, and you'll be fine.
How was that transition process? Like, was there a moment where you just kind of like realized you needed to make a change, or was it a slow process where you're like, okay, we're bringing in more employees, there's other people that can handle some of this workload? How did you get to that I'm working 9 to 5 place?
Only when I started hiring employees. And it took like a year or two after that, honestly, for me to say, okay, I can delegate some more roles to the employees. I don't have to do everything. And then it also took my husband saying, like, okay, you need to take some time for yourself and the family. So that's what made me simmer down a little bit and, just it's balance. It's all about balance.
How would you describe yourself as a leader? What's your leadership style, and what do you think the key traits of a successful business leader are?
Integrity, integrity, integrity. And I say that with a passion in my heart. Even though the cosmetic industry and the food industry, they're out here making billions, trillions of dollars, and they're living great. At the end of the day, do they have integrity? And to me, that is the key to long-lasting business, along with just flourishing and continuing to grow and continuing to help people while you're flourishing. That's my number one thing, integrity.
And then you've mentioned that you don't have a mentor, but where do you go if you do need advice or have questions about running your business?
I usually just stalk other business owners' pages and just and I try to okay, what are they doing? Okay, let me see if I can use this formula and spin it to my way and be able to be successful at it. That's what I do. Because I did have one company, though, when I first started, and I didn't know anything about labels and where to go to purchase labels. And Avery is good, by the way, you guys. I contacted them and I'm like, hey, I see you guys have labels. Can you tell me where I can go to get labels for my products? And they responded. The other companies didn't respond. So you may get a lot of people that put you on red and they don't want to help. But just continue to do your research and study, and you'll eventually find what you need and what you're looking for if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have investors.
What else are you planning for 2022 and beyond?
Well, I also have visited a couple of our beauty supply stores locally. I'm trying to get the products in the local beauty supply stores. I also plan to attend Essence Fest this year. It's a lot of vendors that show up with that. So basically, I'm just moving forward, and I'm trying to get myself out there.
I love it. So the final question here, the way we like to end all of our interviews is by asking what your favorite business book is and why that business book.
I would say, and it's a cliche because I really mostly read fictional type books. But the business book that I did read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I had went to one of those seminars back in the day. And I just realized from that seminar that the most thing that I got out of it is that I didn't want to be poor dad. So I can't really recommend any other business books because honestly, it's in me. It's in my blood. I go off of my intuition, my insights, what I think. Maybe I should write a book. How about that?
I think absolutely you should. I also want to give you a chance here to plug where everybody can find you online for our listeners as they want to go learn more about how you built your beauty business and the types of products that you offer as well.
Well, you definitely can find me, all me, on Black Hair and Skincare on YouTube. So youtube.com/blackhairandskincare. You can find my website at SydneyNicoleProducts.com, SydneyNicoleProducts.com. And then you can also check us out at SydneyNicoleHair.com and we can connect.
Fantastic. That's going to do it for this episode of the Upflip podcast. Again, I'm Alex Freeman. We've been joined by Charmaine Nicole of Black Hair and Skincare, as well as Sydney Nicole Products, who's grown her business in a tremendous way. We look forward to continuing following this story. As always, make sure you check out Upflip on YouTube and also check out the Upflip blog, where we're talking to all kinds of entrepreneurs in all kinds of industries to learn their various tips and tricks to grow their own business. Charmaine, thank you again for joining us.
You're welcome, Alex. Thank you for having me. And I hope to see you guys as new customers.